Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're here for the back nine of the 2023 Halloween Classic presented by Legacy Discs. Sunset Park in Las Vegas. We've got a great feature card. Aaron Gossage along with Cameron Messerschmidt. Las Vegas' own Steve Berger, and rounding out the card is Legacy-sponsored Frank Martinez. We're really at the farthest point out on the course, and now just starting to make our way back off the tee of hole number 10. And we've seen some pretty hot shooting so far. Gossage won off the hot round of any competitor through 9. He sits 6 under. And now this is Steve Berger playing the par 4 just shy of 600 feet. In every sense, I would consider this some kind of a bonus eagle. It's a very easy birdie, but it can be eagled. In fact, I think we've maybe even seen at least one on the scorecard at this point. This is playing as the second easiest hole on the course, actually, averaging 3.53 as we see Martinez tee off. Gossage with a low line drive. Pretty much exactly what you want to do here. Trying to keep the trees on the right side out of play. Sets up for a relatively easy approach. Just take the easy birdie here. Wasn't expecting that high of a shot from Martinez. We'll see what he's left at with for a birdie look. Here's Berger. Spoiler alert, it just hasn't been his day so far. Feels like he's just been a touch off. Messerschmidt rewarded with a pretty good line. And as this plays down into a little bit of a ditch area, I feel like you can come in aggressive. Steve's birdie attempt doesn't connect with anything. Martinez for birdie. A par here is going to feel like a bogey. Let's see how some of the OB kind of surrounds the basket if you were to go deep. And they move over to hole number 11, which is going to almost play parallel coming back the way they just came, almost. Whatever wind you were experiencing on 10, it's just about a 180 as you play back out to 11. Now, this feels a little more like a bonus birdie in the sense that it's gettable, but it's going to take a pretty significant pump to get yourself out there. It plays as the 4th most difficult hole. May come in at 425. I think every player is going to tell you it plays longer than that. And you see that there is a mat provided. There's also paint. And the players do have the option to play from either the mat or what is framing up a tee box, the front of the tee box, with some paint. And I know there was some struggles on a couple of holes where maybe the concrete was a little more worn. And for round 2, an adjustment or two was made. The tournament directing staff went out and gave the players a little more latitude, so to speak, on a few of the holes, which is a great change. And Martinez from way back. Didn't get the relatively short birdie look from the awkward stance on 10, but then steps up on 11. And quite surprising to see out of Gossage, who's looked nearly flawless throughout the first 10 holes. He had just one mistake back on 7. Messerschmidt is in for the birdie. So just 5 birdies were had out of the entire field, and you saw 2 of them here on this card. Martinez from downtown, along with Messerschmidt. Dead straight for hole number 12. Couple of creative options you can go with, and I think we're seeing one of them here from Martinez. You see that there is a Mando tree, so you can't just play it way out to the left. And Martinez is going to roll deep of the pin, or at least pin high, but off on the left side where there's going to be some building obstruction. It's going to have to get creative from over there. Yes, please. What a drive. Gossage perfectly flexing it. Wouldn't say that this sets up well for a lefty, being that the tree on the left-hand side is going to be difficult to bend around. So Berger is out in par territory, it appears. We've seen Messerschmidt with some deep circle 2 action. And just barely short. So Martinez is up against the fenced area. He is pin high, but he has to throw up and over. So no penalties. He's safe. Berger also checked up safe. Over on this right-hand side, you can find an OB, and that splashes in and out. Just not enough. Martinez escapes with the par. This one plays on the more difficult side. In fact, quite a bit of the course in terms of difficulty to par is where it's found on the back. 12 and 13 are kind of on the tougher side, and then as well as 11, but then 17, 18, and 16 are the 3 most difficult holes on the course. So you finish out the round and then eventually the tournament on literally the 3 most difficult holes.
Almost got over it. It's close.
And this in particular is one of the tee pads that actually is somewhat slick, or considerably slick, I should say. And as I pan over there, that's where you can see the basket.
If you do not have your partner for doubles tomorrow, if you're not playing, you can come up, or your parents can come up, and we can try to partner you guys up.
See the slip by Martinez. And it doesn't look like he's really affected by it. Keeps it inbounds, doesn't miss the Mando. You essentially have to throw straight out and then take a left turn around a Mando pole. Not really a hole that sets up great for a lefty backhander. Out in the open. And then gets caught up. And you can see the pole there with the yellow stake coming out. As I pan over to the basket, you can see that pole is the Mando pole. And Martinez going to cut it as close to that Mando line as he can. And that'll give him a putt. I didn't say it in the front nine, but I'll say it here. Unbelievably calm for a day out here in Vegas. Locals, Kerry Trotter and others certainly making note of it, that there was just the lightest of breeze, as we see that Messerschmidt gets no skip whatsoever there. That skips straight for Berger, should be a tap-in par, but certainly worth noting, unseasonably, uncharacteristically calm for an afternoon out here in Vegas. I don't think that's going to be the case the entire weekend, but definitely calm today, as Messerschmidt seems uncertain if it's outside the circle, and then Gossage comes over. We'll give a Bushnell plug, and Gossage is going to determine that it's, in fact, outside 10 meters. I've said it a handful of times now. Messerschmidt really excels in Circle 2. So the jumper sticks.
Yeah, gets 2 or 3 or whatever birdie is.
Gossage is in for birdie. The fact that Aaron's 9 under through 13 and has a bogey on the scorecard, very impressive. Messerschmidt also 9 under. I know in the front nine, I'm thinking right around double digits feels like a pretty solid effort out here. These guys are definitely on track and then some. Hole 14 is pretty straightforward, 325 feet. If you go too far deep, you can be out of bounds, or I'll say even off to that long right side, also out of bounds. Basically the gravel area. Safe, but out of position for Martinez. This played right in the middle in terms of difficulty. Averaged .14 under par. I got to assume there were quite a few pars on this particular hole. In fact, 69% of the field parred this. So not a ton of birdies, not a ton of bogeys, quite a few pars. Do you have another circle two? And he does. Oh, fist pump for Messerschmidt. He's going to get to double digits with that. And another circle two connection. Berger trying to get things going here after a relatively flat start. Nice birdie from circle's edge. So just as we opened the front nine, or continued throughout, it looked like Gossage was just unstoppable, and he's been playing incredibly well. And then maybe a little more quietly, we're seeing what Messerschmidt has put together. As I said, jumps out to the 10 under through 14.
I started playing disc golf with my family when I was 8 years old. When I was 16, I got my first job as a cook at a bowling alley. And that's when I made my first batch of beef jerky. As I got better at throwing, I also got better at making beef jerky. Everyone told me they loved my jerky. After 15 years of making my beef jerky as a hobby, I decided to make it available to everyone. Double G Craft Jerky. Give it a try. You're gonna love it.
We're on to hole 15. Cam Messerschmidt. It's a nice little flick of the wrist, making it look so easy. You cannot go long here. Going long not only just brings you out of bounds, but then it brings you all the way back to a drop zone. And it's a drop zone. It's not so much the length at the 45 or 50 feet that it's at. It's the fact that if you run it, you could go out of bounds again. Kind of think of the beach at hole number 6 over at USDGC, where it's like you go to the drop zone, and then from there you really have to think about if you want to go after it again or not. Obviously, we don't have a beach-like setting here with the water, but it has a very similar feel to it. Where it's like it almost feels crazy to run at it. And that is deep for Martinez, so he's out of bounds and has to come all the way back here to the drop zone. And gives that one a good bid, but looks like bogey's in store. Here's Berger trying to pick up another birdie. Some of these baskets look familiar. I think it's because the Wild Horse course often is where you'll find these baskets. You know, the club and a bunch of others making the effort to have the baskets be in play here for this unique layout that's played this particular weekend. If you went out to Sunset, and I've only been out there for tournaments, but my understanding is Sunset has, I think it's 1,000,001 different configurations, and then whenever a tournament is being hosted, they take into, you know, a few safaris, a few extra ideas. So you may never find Sunset looking the same twice. And I think that adds to the variety, but that's why we're seeing a few temp baskets and a couple different plays and methodologies out here. Hole 16 is the other hole on the course that will move only in round number 2. So here is where we're going to see it in both rounds 1 and 3. It plays across a low-lying ditch area, which is all marked as out of bounds. And Gossage is going to go after it.
Good layup.
Everyone else was talking about a layup, and Gossage essentially steps up and is swinging for the fences, so to speak. He's going to go after the pin, and the OB area that surrounds the pin is not far past it, but then he ends up getting caught up on the right side, which is a blessing in disguise and lands him in bounds. Messerschmidt with an easy pitch over. As I said, the OB can come up about 30-ish feet from behind the basket, and then if you come up short, you don't have a lot of room there either. Be a tap-in par coming up there for Berger. Now, a unique position that he got this far, got caught up at the end to keep him from going into the OB area, and is still able to give it a long run. Had the pleasure of meeting Aaron's mom, I believe Michelle, out there on the bag for the weekend. Always fun to watch a mother-son combo and how they take in the course at any given event. Messerschmidt is in for the par. Can't imagine we saw too many birdies. In fact, I'm going to do the quick looking thanks to PDGA.com and PDGALive.com, I should say. Spoiler alert, just 2 birdies on the day. Andrew Reese and Parker Welk. The only 2 birdies on hole 16 for the day. We head over to 17, 333 feet. Essentially, you want to do that.
Okay. That was not the skip you were looking for. That was not the skip I was.
Messerschmidt admits that wasn't the skip he was looking for. He wanted to skip straighter rather than flare as much as it did, but you want to really just come in low, hit the gap that Berger doesn't quite come in low enough for, and then just have it continue to fade over to that right side if you're Steve. See if Gossage. No, saws it off early, kicks to the right side, so he's way short. Inbounds, but short. There is OB to the right side. That parking lot essentially would be the line. We haven't seen a lot of forehands by Martinez, but just like his backhand, very smooth. Gossage right next to the pin. Really slowed down. I believe it was after 14 holes. He was 10 under and hasn't birdied since. Maybe even 13. Frank's effort for birdie. Comes up short now. Another circle 2 look from Messerschmidt. Solid chain, but doesn't get that one to fall. Hole 17 only gave up a handful or so birdies throughout the entire day. It looks like there was 7 of them. So kind of difficult to come by. The hole actually averaged over par. And as we get to the 18th, and big shout out to my friends at the Distinguished Doodle. There's a link in the description if you're looking for a little bit of a discount. Tell them the disc golf guy sent you. 18, very unique in that we see the OB kind of cut in the way that it does. It's going to be way off to the left side and out of bounds for Messerschmidt.
Oh, that's pretty high.
18 averaging as the second most difficult hole in the course and playing more than a third of a stroke over par. I mean, if everyone could just do this, you wouldn't be mad about that. That's going to be safe and still give Gossage a long look. Elevated basket along with a little Halloween decoration. That doesn't quite clear, so Martinez will be out of bounds. You know, I said it when we had the jerky transition a little while ago. I've got jerky, I've got disc, I've got a lot of different things that I would love to give away. So leave a comment. Why don't you tell me? Tell me if you've played golf in Vegas. That's what I'd like to know. If you've come out to Vegas, whether it was Sunset or any of the other courses, maybe it's the Las Vegas Challenge, you've played Wild Horse, maybe that's all you know. But tell me if you've been out here and where you played. That'll make you eligible for the giveaway. Here's Gossage. So fast start, a little bit of a slower finish. Gossage is going to come in at 10 under. And just, unfortunately, that kind of day for Steve Berger. The beloved local will hopefully pick it up a little bit in round number 2. Big shout out to the Las Vegas Club, along with Manny and Steve from Simply Modern Productions. Anyone that had anything to do with me being out there and being part of this event, including our TD Sam, and of course our presenting sponsor in Legacy. Thank you to all of you, and I can't say it enough. Coverage like this wouldn't be possible if it weren't for my Patreon supporters as well. So maybe consider becoming a Patreon member if you like seeing some content that's not exclusively from the Pro Tour. As great as that all is, we're moving into a different part of the season, and that's the main way that I can get out there and make this happen. So with that, that's round number 1 of the 2023 Halloween Classic presented by Legacy Disc. Thank you guys so much for joining. We've got 2 more rounds coming. Of course, we've got the lead card on the next couple of rounds. We shortened down the edit on those just a little bit, keep things moving along. Jacob Curtis, Jake Brown, Aaron Gossage, and Cam Messerschmidt will be on our lead card for round 2. Cupcake coming in with the hot 13 under to get it started. From Vegas, we'll see you at the next one.